The little Moravian church of Kilwallen is tucked away in a quiet corner of Hillsborough. Its unusual gardens are laid out on the plan of the famous Greek battle of Thermopylae, the brainchild of a Greek chieftain named Basil Zula, who was ordained as a minister of this little Ulster church. To tell us the extraordinary story of how a Greek chieftain came to this quiet part of rural Ulster, here is Bishop Foy of the Moravian Church. How did this Greek chieftain, Chief Zula, come to be here?
The Moravian Church came to England in the 1740s and worked together with the Wesleys in the big evangelical revival movement of that time. They then came to Ireland and established a congregation in Dublin. And from Dublin, two small congregations in this area, Kilwallen and Lower Ballinderry, were founded by the great Moravian evangelist and hymn writer John Cennick. That was in 1755. Now, the congregation here at Kilwallen never prospered for some reason or other. And by 1835, it was almost extinct. There were only 6 members left. And the original church built by Cennick in 1755 was in ruins, the manse was uninhabitable, and the grounds were a wilderness. And at that point, it looked as if the congregation would disappear. And then what we call the Greek miracle happened. There was a chieftain called Zula who fought against the Turks in Greece in the 1820s. He finally gave up the struggle and went to Smyrna. And in Smyrna, he met an Englishman, Sir William Eden, and became his traveling companion. They went on a journey up the Nile, then they came to England, and then they came to Ireland. And they stayed in a hotel in Dublin, and in this hotel, the proprietor, being a religious man, had morning prayers every day to which he invited the hotel guests. And on the morning after Zula and Sir William Eden arrived in Dublin, they attended the prayers. But on that morning, Mr. Bilton, the proprietor, wasn't there to take the prayers, but he had asked a Dublin Moravian schoolmistress called Anne Linfoot if she would take the prayers for him. She agreed to do that, and she had been a teacher in one of our boarding schools in England where the curriculum included Greek, so she was able to talk to Zula. They became close friends. She introduced him to the Moravian Church in Dublin, and he eventually offered for our ordained ministry and was ordained. And he was called to his first place, his first charge was Kilwallen, and he arrived to the conditions that I've just described.
He must have been a very charismatic figure.
Yes. To me, the most astonishing thing about this whole story is the way in which the people here accepted him. 99% of the people round about here would never have heard of Greece.
So?
And at that time, somebody from Hillsborough would be a foreigner.
Is that really?
And yet they took this man to their hearts. He visited the sick and the poor, and he helped the local people in many ways. Many people think that he laid out the grounds to provide work for the local people. Now, when Zula died, he had raised the membership of the congregation here from 6 old people to 153. On the day that the new church which he built, where we are this morning, was opened for worship, 25 new members were added to the congregation. And for several years after his death, practically every baby which was baptized in this congregation, boy or girl, was given the name Zula.
Thank you, Bishop Foy, for telling us the story of the Moravian Church.